Hello, good morning, and welcome to my 32nd weekly video, Living with Alzheimer's. Thank you so much for your response in last week's video with my wife. Yeah, it's really good to have such a positive feedback, and as a result, she's quite happy to do a few more videos with me, maybe sort of one a month or one every other month, just to give her insight and take onto living with dementia from her point of view. So it's great that she's agreed to do that, and I think your response has had a lot to do with that. Now, this week, a couple of 3 days ago, as I was asked a question, and it's something that I might have touched on in earlier videos, but I wanted to go into more depth this week. It was a question about going out and eating at restaurants and ordering from menus and fast food stores and that sort of thing. And I want to touch on this in detail because, and I think this is something that people in my situation will be very familiar with, whether you're a carer or whether you're somebody who's been diagnosed with the condition. And I think over the last couple of 3 years, I have found it very difficult to go into a restaurant, a pub, or a fast food store and order from a menu. Now, before I was diagnosed, the same as anybody else, I could go into a pub restaurant and look at a menu. I could order a meal, go up to the bar and order for the family and do all of that. Now I cannot. When we sit down now and look at a menu, I cannot absorb the information that is there. There is too much detail and there is too much for me to, I suppose, process, too much to take in. Which in actual fact means that all I do is I look at the menu, but I don't really see anything, or I don't really, I suppose, take anything in. It's just like a lot of words, and it doesn't really mean anything. So what happens is now, my wife will read out pieces from the menu that she knows that I'll like, whether it's steak or, I don't know, whatever it is. And I suppose, to give you a little better idea of that, it's like going to eat out with a child. And I know that's probably a little bit of a stark thing to say, but it is, because when you go out with a child who's not very good at reading, you will read what's on the menu for them and make suggestions. And that's exactly what my wife has to do now. And she will make a suggestion, and sometimes I know that if she says that she'll have salmon, then in actual fact I copy that, because I can't think of anything else to have. So I'll sometimes have exactly what she has, and unless she makes a suggestion. So going out in that environment, I have to live on suggestions. I have to survive on what others suggest is there, and I can't really make my own decision now like I could a couple of 3 years ago. I can no longer go up to the bar and order what we have decided to have, because I have no memory of what I'm ordering. So either somebody comes with me and I do the carrying, or somebody else would order will order for me. If we go to fast food places to eat, again, there is generally a detailed list above the counter, and that again is so very, very complicated that I can't really manage to process that. So again, that's something that somebody else will manage for me, if that's the right word. And these are the things that sometimes people who are not really related to dementia or have connection much with this disease really think about. They don't think about that sort of part of life. The simple normal things of just going to a restaurant and ordering a meal for somebody like us is a very, very difficult thing to do. And I suppose one of the things about it, one of the funny things about it, is that once I've ordered my meal, once I've decided to have pork, steak or whatever it is, I've forgotten what I ordered. So if there's a group of us and the plates are brought over, I might end up having somebody else's, because if someone says the steak, I'll just say yes, because I've got no idea what I've ordered. So sometimes I'll have what other people have ordered, and it gets switched round, which hey, to this point in time, nobody has complained. Everybody has been quite happy with that. So yeah, it's there can be a little bit of a funny side of it, but yeah. So yeah, and I think today, I think the video is to say that, you know, this is, I think, a fairly common problem for people with dementia, with Alzheimer's. And I think that I'm trying to say today that the question that I was asked was, is it difficult, and how do I cope? Well, it is difficult, and others cope for me. But I suppose what I'm trying to say today is that if you're in that situation, you're not alone. Your dementia is really no different to mine. You're probably sitting there listening to this video and saying, oh, do you know what, we have exactly the same problems when we go out. I have to order for my husband, or I have to order for my wife, or whatever. So it's just to say really that you're not alone. Our problems are all the same, but different. And I suppose one way, that I'm hoping people will take comfort from the fact that, in actual fact, it is very similar to everybody else's. And you know, I suppose in the early days of going to a restaurant, I found it a little bit embarrassing, and I found it, I suppose, a little bit childlike to have somebody to order for me. But you know, after a while, you get to think, well, hey, it's not quite so bad, and hey, look on the bright side. If they go up and order at the bar, then they're the ones that are paying, not me. Anyway, I hope that that's answered the question today. I won't run on too much today, because in actual fact, this morning has been quite a tiring morning. Sometimes people like me wake up and the days are better than other days, and today is quite a tiring day. So I'm going to cut the video now at about 7.5 minutes. And yeah, I hope it's been a little bit educational today. So it's just for me to say now, as always, have a great weekend, have a great week, and I'll be here again with week number 33 next Friday. Thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye.